This is Wadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Body TV so ne ma yama mu nyina akwaba na de tene se ensem de ebisisi papa ensem sisi esisi no mayembo mu ewo Adom Otchere na kache wakasa de afa appointment a omampanyen John Dramani Mahama ye sisi awoyi ni ministers no ewi na we ministers ni finchen a CEO sahodo no Asiedu Nketia ba no lawyer no wono so MP wanya appointment yes wanya deputy CEO na Rawings ba no yama no position bia Zenator yama Zenator position bia ana so mpe also mpana well Adom Otchere de wonim dada ono MPP ni ono bia nim so MPP ne wachesim na wose hwe Asiedu Nketia mo na mo se na do baye family and friends then amoye no anya family and friends na moye no Zenator bapa Rawings bapa okọ ne tetem matima mano minister nka agenda mpo betima akoye djuma wo we dey Adom Otchere.
Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, the oral chairman, is going to lead Ghana's foreign policy, isn't it? Can we start with that? Do you have the photographs of Okujeto Ablakwa? I'll come back to this when I'm setting out again. But now, yes, excellent. Congratulations, Uncle Sam. You are the Minister for Foreign Affairs. Congratulations. We wish you Godspeed, isn't it? Okay. So if Okujeto Ablakwa is going to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, let's check it out. What's going to be the foreign policy of Ghana? Well, Ghana doesn't have such a dynamic foreign policy as the United States would have, or another country would have. We have a foreign policy that mainly includes ECOWAS. ECOWAS is important to us. But the Cold War has ended, so whether we lean east or west is immaterial to the foreign policy these days. However, knowing the relationship between the Honorable Foreign Minister and the very distinguished Ambassador Kwesi Pratt. Why is he Ambassador? Kwesi Pratt is an ambassador of the Cuban Revolution. That's why I call him an ambassador. Now that the Angola War has ended, there's a Cuban Revolution. The Cuban Revolution, we are still fighting it. I am an apologist of the Cuban Revolution as well. So Ambassador Kwesi Pratt has an excellent relationship with Ablakwa. I am fearing that the foreign policy of Ghana over the next 4 years could be significantly left-leaning because of the intellectual influence that Kwesi Pratt has on all of us, but especially that which he has over Sami Okujeto Ablakwa, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, designates, and I'm sure he'll become the minister. So this is my fear. But as I was thinking about it, my fears were alleviated. I'll tell you why. Kwesi Pratt is left-leaning. We know that. He makes no excuses for that. He believes in that, and we grant him that. So, because he's left-leaning, you remember when Akufo-Addo held a press conference, the first press conference, all of us were asking questions. Kwesi Pratt attended the press conference, and I asked a question about the Sahrawi Republic. You know that the government has said something about the Sahrawi Republic recently as the government was exiting. So there's going to be a significant conversation about our foreign policy. And now, the Sahel region is also important. And the Sahel region, their initial narrative is left-leaning. They are moving away from the colonial master. They don't want the colonial master to have control over them anymore. That kind of narrative always fits well into the left's philosophy, doesn't it? So all of that is happening now, and Nigeria is chairing ECOWAS at this time by Bola Tinubu, who is a heavy capitalist. Big-time capitalist is ECOWAS chairman. France is over there. Britain is over there. Ghana is beginning a new, quite popular government. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa has been made the foreign minister. One of his important mentors, as it is with most of us, is Ambassador Kwesi Pratt. Is the foreign policy going to lean left? Maybe not. Why? Because President John Dramani Mahama and his influential brother Ibrahim Mahama are both heavy right-wing thinkers. Yes. Prez Mahama is an NDC man, he's a president of the NDC leader and president. But I'm saying to you that President Mahama is not a left-wing thinker. Ibrahim Mahama is not a left-wing thinker. Both President Mahama and Ibrahim Mahama are right-wing thinkers. So there's going to be a push and pull at the foreign ministry policy because President Mahama is going to go more towards center to the right. Ibrahim is going to encourage any policy that is in favor of capitalists, is in favor of capitalism, is in favor of business, is in favor of investment, is in favor of bringing capitalism here, is in favor of privatizing this, privatizing that, privatizing this. These are the concepts of right-wing people. I'm right-wing. Yeah, I am. So Kwesi Pratt is going to direct and influence Okudzeto Ablakwa in a certain direction. That direction is going to be pulled back from the philosophy of the most important man, President John Dramani Mahama, and his influential brother, Ibrahim Mahama. I leave it here. Food for thought. That's about the gossip of the foreign ministry. Let's move on. Bring back the main appointments and let's go to another sector ministry. All right, let's see it. Congratulations to Sam Nate George, who has become the Minister for Communication, Digital, Tech, and Innovation. There's a lot to see what happens because he was ranking member. And so as ranking member, he has made certain contributions on most of the things, Kelny, GVG, 5G, and all of that. So he's going to go to the vetting and we'll see what happens. I'll bring back Okudzeto Ablakwa's photograph when I talk about Haruna Idris, but I'll get there. Ama Kofi Boa, congratulations to him. Very good friend of mine, good guy. Ama Kofi Boa, LM Bele. He is the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Kofi Adams is heading to the Ministry of Sports, quite an interesting area. The Black Stars will need to qualify for the World Cup so that we can sit at home and watch the Black Stars play in Canada, in America, and in Mexico. Mexico is also hosting a tournament. Hopefully the Black Stars will get there. I was excited about Mohamed Kudus at the weekend. I don't know why West Ham is losing so many games, but I'm sure he'll pick it up because the World Cup qualifiers are coming. We need him to be on top of his game. So hopefully that will happen. Kofi Adams, Ministry of Youth and Sports, good luck. And congratulations. I'm so excited to see Abdul Rashid Pelpo back into the government. This is a very, very loyal member of the party, Rashid Pelpo. He's so loyal to the NDC. He's been there for that long. He's coming in as Minister for Labor, Jobs, and Employment. There's Komna Kando is coming in for health. And here, I'll have to share some gossip with you. So, the health was a big tussle, wasn't it? It was a big tussle. We were told that Dr. Mani Boama wanted health. We know that he had prepared himself for it. We know that he had gone abroad to study after he left government as Minister for Communication. And then he came back with his experience, expertise, well developed in public health. It was widely speculated that he wanted health. It was said that he wanted health. People close to him told journalists that he wanted health. However, health is now gone to Mr. Kwabena Akando. He is a member of parliament from a constituency in the Western North district. Western North, that's where he's a member of parliament of. Okay, so what is the gossip about the health? Bring me the health gossip photographs. The issue now is the ministerial list now having been finished. Dr. Grace Ayensu's name is not in there. Grace Ayensu's name is not in there. Dr. Titus Boye's name is not in there. All of them competent and qualified to be ministers of health. Dr. Zenator Rawings' name is not in there. So if President Mahama wants to do one deputy for health, I'm guessing that he might do 2 deputies for health. Well, he has 60 to go. I think he has 32 now. So he has 12 or something left. And then the original ministers are 16, isn't it? So all of these, one of these 3 will be deputy minister for health. Maybe 2 of them will be deputy ministers of health. If it's 2, 1 will fall out. If it's 1, 2 will fall out. Our job is to speculate in the analysis that we're doing over the next 2 minutes who is going to be in there and who may not be in there. It all begins and ends with influence. So all of them are members of parliament. The most senior member of parliament is Dr. Zenator Rawings. We had heard that in terms of awarding ministerial positions, seniority would matter, isn't it? Now, Dr. Rawings is the most senior member of parliament amongst these 2 others. Dr. Titus Bayo has been doing health politics for a while, and so he really understands the ins and outs of Ghana Health Service, Ministry of Health, doctors, senior doctors, consultants, junior doctors, nurses. He's been in that space for a while. So he clearly understands that. That is an important asset that any government will need if you are appointing somebody to be Deputy Minister of Health. It's an asset you will need, it's an experience you will need, it's contacts you will need. Ebeyo seems to have that. Dr. Grace Ayensu has an exposure of working in American hospitals and all of that. She's transferred that exposure to Ghana. She's come to work with a group of people and did a good job in a hospital in Accra. She's kept that job and kept an eye on Esikado since 2020. Eventually, she's been elected to Esikado, elected by Esikado as the Member of Parliament. She has quite a bit of exposure. Now, the big battle here is not about what you bring or what you don't bring. It's about who is your godfather, who is influencing you. So let's go and look at that now on the touch screen and come. Okay. So Grace Ayensu's godfather is the almighty Totobi Kwache, the big Ministry of National, the big brain of national security. Uncle Totobi Kwache is Grace Ayensu's godfather. So if Grace Ayensu is going to get the Ministry of Deputy Minister of Health position, the influential points will be through the brain, power, influence, authority, and the relationship of KTQ, as we call him on the phone when we are texting those days. You know, it's KTQ in his office, and that's what we used to do. We are sorry, please don't tell him. As KTQ, the influence is going to bring on the center is what is going to give Grace Ayensu the job, if at all. But who is President Mahama's godfather in politics? It appears... Anyway, I'll leave it there. So, Grace Ayensu's godfather is KTQ. All right. Titus Boye's godfather would be Johnson Asiedu Nketia, the chairman of the NDC, but who is also the potential next presidential candidate of the party. That's very beautiful, isn't it? Johnson Asiedu Nketia is the current chairman of the NDC, but he is also the potential next presidential candidate or the potential next sole presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress. Johnson Asiedu Nketia, chairman of the party, is also the potential sole next presidential candidate of the NDC. Now, Johnson Asiedu Nketia has been winning quite a bit in terms of the ministerial appointment. Those of you who are following the gossip like I am, you hear the gossip, you hear who are his candidates, and then you see that it's happening. So he's been winning significantly, isn't it? His person is Dr. Beyo. Johnson Asiedu Nketia is going to make the argument to the center that, look, this guy has been in that space for a long time. He's a member of parliament. Even if we don't make him deputy minister, we might need him in parliament. He has to chair the committee or something. If we think we need his exposure, his experience, and his contact in the, if you like, health politics, you probably have to make him a deputy minister. That's the point he's going to make. So that may hold. I don't know what will happen. Dr. Rawlings has her influence in J.J. Rawlings, who may not be around, and may he rest in peace, but he has significant influence. I mean, the JJ influence over NDC, it doesn't feel like he's not around. I mean, when you're having a conversation in an NDC meeting, it feels like he's standing there. So JJ's influence is palpable, is tangible. Okay. Now, John Mahama is going to think about, if I don't say anything about Zenator Rawlings, how would Rawlings feel about that? It might cross his mind. How would Rawlings feel about that? If I do it, how would Rawlings feel about that? So that's going to be a bit of influence on him. If you're looking at the number of times he's been in parliament for 2 terms in opposition. And typically, most of those particular MPs are usually rewarded with appointments. Those MPs who came to the parliament, first time the government lost the election. Then the second time the government lost the election. The third time the government won an election. If you think about that, it sounds like it's unfair if people like Zenator Rawlings don't get into their positions. So this Deputy Minister of Health, if you know John Mahama, please tell him that we are saying that President Dr. Rawlings has been a member of parliament 2 terms in opposition. She's won a significant seat also. Colleague Clotte, she took it when NDC already had it, and she's held it. She's not lost it. And this is her 3rd term. Please, Mr. Mahama, consider the old man. Consider the old man and do something. Okay, let's move to the next one. Let's move. Joyce, hi, hello, how are you? Joyce Bauer is being designated and called a presidential aide, special aide to the president. And there's something, advisor here, special aide to the president and advisor to the president. I'm not so sure about how Joyce and her supporters will feel about this. I mean, she was talked about for Ministry of Foreign Affairs, what Ablakwa now has. She was talked about as Minister for Transport, where she had been deputy, which is also significant. President Mahama didn't do the foreign affairs. He didn't do the transport. And now, as Joyce has special age, I'm not so sure whether maybe keeping people like Joyce, especially in the Jubilee House, is important because she has institutional memory. She's been with President Mahama throughout the campaign. Throughout the last 8 years, she's been with President Mahama. She has institutional memory. She knows all the meetings President Mahama has sat in. She's been in all those meetings. She's known all the agreements that President Mahama has made with people, social agreements. I mean, if I win, I'll do this for you. She has a memory of that. She has it in her notes. So it might be useful to keep her around the president at the beginning of the government, because you're going to have people coming back to remind the president that this happened, that happened. If you take her to foreign affairs, she's gone to Sierra Leone or Gambia, or she's gone to Djibouti, and then the chief is standing in front of you and says that, oh, Mr. President, when you came to Dambai, do you remember? Now, I can talk like this because I work with politicians quite a bit, so I understand it. Somebody will come to the president and say, Mr. President, when you came to Dambai, do you remember when you told me that you will give me this dam? And the president will say, oh, I say, oh no, Joyce was there. Joyce was there. Joyce was there when you said it. And that is going to happen a lot. Joyce was there. Joyce was there. Joyce was there. Because the president was going to ask, because the things are plenty in his head, you know. So he's going to ask who was there. Say, oh, Joyce was there. Joyce was there. So you don't want this Joyce was there, this lawyer who has a lot of information about things that have happened, and is also quite clever. You don't want her to be far away. You want her to be near you. Is that an advantage to Joyce or a disadvantage to Joyce? I don't know. But whatever it is, Joyce, you're going to be here with us. You're not going to be flying. So when we're looking for you, we can find you. We can WhatsApp you and we'll come to the Jubilee House and find you. Congratulations. I like this particular photograph of hers when they use it. This is very scholarly, you know. It looks like Lord Denon, something like that. So I really like it. Okay, congratulations, Joyce. Godspeed. And if I text you, please respond. If you don't respond, I'll text again. All right. This is another one that was really fascinating. Very, very interesting concept. I don't know whether Kwesi Pratt was part of the thinking of this, but I won't be surprised. This is very interesting. President Mahama has appointed Bevlolate to be a special envoy for the Sahel region. Who is the Sahel region? The coup makers who are now being hailed across all over the place. Especially the Burkina guy who came here. He had a gun by his side. Yeah, Choboy, yeah. Chochoboy, yeah. Revolution, unabated. Kwabenya is too far. I don't care. Yeah, those songs. They are singing it now. We sang it in 79. Why is this so? Why is this so? There's a song. Why is this so? We are the producers of Why Is This So? Iske revolution unabated. JJ never dies. We sang these things. We are here today. We sang it. We are here. So they are singing it now. So I think they are in some frenzy. Coup d'etat, coup. They are in some frenzy. Let's see what happens. But President Mahama has done something interesting, yeah? He's appointed Larry Latte, who knows more about coups than all three of them combined, to become the Ghanaian envoy to the Sahel region. I think this is very interesting, very strategic. I think it's a good thing President Mahama has done because of the peculiar background of Larry Bevlolate. You see, you don't get many of these kinds of backgrounds in a space like that. Larry Latte's background is so appropriate for him to engage these three young men. His background is absolutely so appropriate. Now, what is his background? He's a military officer. He knows everything about Recce and airborne force and all of those military operations. And then he's quite scholarly. He's a chartered accountant. He's a lawyer. He has a degree in international relations as well. Very, very well-educated army officer. Bevlo also was a key part of the coup d'etat of 31st December. In fact, a lot of the operations of the 31st December event rested on his shoulders as a lieutenant or second lieutenant. I think it was a lieutenant, or maybe captain, lieutenant. It rested on his shoulders. So Bevlo knows how to do coup, if you want me to put it in that very simplistic way. He knows how to do coup. And then he also became the commanding officer of the much dreaded 64 Infantry Battalion. For those of you who may not know, what is 64 Infantry Battalion? It was a unit in the Ghana Armed Forces, an elite unit in the Ghana Armed Forces that was set out to protect the regime of Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. It brought together the most elite Ghanaian army officers trained from the Ghana Military Academy. Gwevlo, in the better life of the 64, was the commanding officer. He commanded the 64, 1997, 98, 99, into 2000. He commanded the 64 Infantry Battalion. This is a battalion of elite people. Now, what did the battalion do? The battalion was also doing a lot of rapid responses in West Africa sub-region. So when there was need for them to go to Sierra Leone to either protect for the Sanko or fight against him, the 64 will be quickly deployed and they move. They are a rapid response force, and they are also a force in the country looking after the interest of the regime of Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. Now, that's his background. That's where he's coming from. In 2000, when the Kufuor government took over in 2001, they kicked him out, and he couldn't be bothered. They didn't find anything against him. Nothing has been found since. And then when Professor Mills became president, he made Larry Gbagbo as a national security advisor. The only thing that he did at that time that offended the mind of many scholars was the University of Ghana brouhaha with Professor Aite, where he led some men to go and pull down the gate, or it was alleged that he did something like that. It was a bit uncomfortable for those who really respected Gbagbo. But we don't know that. We didn't get to the bottom of that story to understand what it is. But this is who he is. Now, his responsibility, and it's important, you see, because Okudzeto Ablakwa is Minister for Foreign Affairs. He's young, very young. So you might need, in negotiating with the Sahel, somebody that they can talk to, somebody they can see themselves in him. This is a cool man. He's also a lawyer. He's a soldier. He's commander of 64. He was national security advisor. I think this is the perfect appointment that President Mahama has made. Let's hope that it yields results. Let's see what happens in the future. Later tonight, I might get Alhassan Bello to come in and give us some more information about this one, if there is any. Okay, let's get back to the appointment, and let's be wrapping it up on that one, on that front, and get to Afenyo Markin's stories. Mutala Mohammed, congratulations. Environment, Science and Technology. Joseph Nikpe, congratulations. Ministry of Transport. Oh, my man. Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, Ministry of Interior. Where is Dr. Dampare? Your minister has come. Oh, your minister is Mubarak, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak. Asawasi MP is your minister. The very handsome lawyer, Ken Ajay, ends up at Works and Housing and Water Resources. We had speculated that he was going to go to defense. That didn't happen. Dr. Maneboama is over there. And so Ken Ajay is at Works and Housing. Emmanuel Ejekum, Special Initiatives. Hawa Kumsin used to be Special Initiatives. Viewers, do you remember her? Do you remember my friend, my darling friend, Hawa Kumsin? Yes, she used to be Minister for Special Initiatives back in the day. Now, the new Minister for Special Initiatives is Emmanuel Ejekum. Then there is Felix Kwachi Ofosu, Government Communications. I like the way they put that together. It's really the Ministry of Information, isn't it? But they made it nice. I think it's nicer. So, Felix Kwachi Ofosu's responsibility is as a Minister of State, Government Relations. And his deputy, real deputy here, is Shamima Muslim, who is Deputy Presidential Spokesperson. So the Ministry of Information has been arranged that way. I think they're trying to move away from the Second World War concept of a Ministry of Information, that is Information Services Department and Propaganda, and they are modernizing it, so they are calling it Government Communications. I think that's perfect. Congratulations to Felix. Hopefully he'll be granting us interviews every now and then when the controversy arises. All right. Isifu Seidu is the Minister for Climate Change and Sustainability. I'm not so sure what the responsibility of the Minister for Climate Change and that of Environment, Science and Technology will be, because Environment, Science and Technology has to do with sustainability as well. Anyway, let's see what's happening. This looks like a new ministry created, a Ministry for Climate Change and Sustainability. Isifu Seidu heads there. The Honorable Kwame Abuja has gone to Rose. We already said that he's had a successful vetting. Eric Opoku is a food and agriculture. Vetting has been done. Agnes Latte, MP for Nungwa, congratulations. We've talked about tourism. Hannah Bisiu, did I say Hannah Bisiu? Emilia Arthur, fisheries and aquaculture. George Opariado, Idrisu Haruna, Elizabeth J. Atuforsen, indeed, Atuforsen, John Jinapo, and Dominic Aini have all passed the vetting today, and Parliament has passed them. It looks like tomorrow morning they will be sworn in by the President and they will start official work. When the Attorney General starts official work, he will inform the general public about oral and what is happening with it. Okay, and then there were new appointments in the president's office. We already talked about Joyce Bauer. Of course, not surprising, Stanislav Hosted-Dogbe comes in as a Deputy Chief of Staff Operations. Congratulations, Stan. Nana Oye Bampoado, we've already talked about her. She comes as a Deputy Chief of Staff Admin. Setimanuel Tekpe, Presidential Advisor on the Economy. Professor Francis Dodu, Presidential Advisor, National Anti-Corruption Program. That's interesting. What is National Anti-Corruption Program? Okay, we'll find out. Bevlolate is a special envoy to the Alliance of the Sahel States. Nanaya Jantua, Presidential Staffer. Beatrice Annan, Presidential Staffer. Shamima Muslim, congratulations to Shamima, Deputy Presidential Spokesperson. Professor Kweku Danso Boafo is the Cabinet Secretary. Thanks to Alexander Afenyo-Markin for reminding the President that the Cabinet Secretary had not yet been appointed, whereas letters from the Secretary to the President, Callistus Mahama, was being copied to a Cabinet Secretary who was yet to be appointed. But you can understand, once the Secretary is appointed, he'll come and see the letters and he will look at them and he will acknowledge them. But Alexander Afenyo-Markin likes to take us on a constitutional expedition. I'm thoroughly enjoying what he's been doing at the vetting. Let's now see the video of Afenyo-Markin and Idrisu Haruna having some chitter-chats at the vetting. Let's begin with the Akan one. So in Akan, Afenyo-Markin was asking Idrisu Haruna where he lives as part of the vetting. Afenyo-Markin has started a conversation that may not even be about Idrisu Haruna. It may not be about Idrisu Haruna. It's about other things. That's what I suspect. I don't know. He's not speaking to me. If I want to call him, he doesn't even pick. If you know him, tell him that I called him yesterday twice. He didn't pick. Sunday, I called him after the football match. He didn't pick. Okay. So he started a conversation that may not even be about Haruna Idrisu, but it's about systems and important matters, weighty and important matters that need to come to the table of Parliament so that we can settle it once and for all. Good evening, Adenta Kumi. How are you? Your friend Okuyeto Ablakwa is heading for vetting. Are you going to submit a memorandum for him to answer questions? Honorable Sam, Adenta Kumi says that he's submitting some memorandums for your vetting, but I know that you'll be successful at the vetting. I'll be there. I'll be there to support you. After all that day is this thing. I'll be there. Let's take text messages. We'll come back and we'll do the Obuasi story. Don't forget about that. Or Asiedu Nketia, everybody is pointing fingers at him for saying something 4 years ago, which they say is hunting him now. I don't think it should hunt him. I mean, I don't understand why a young Asiedu Nketia has opportunity. His father's party is in power. He's prepared himself. He wants to be deputy CEO at MIF. What is the problem? I really don't find any problem with it. Asiedu Nketia's son appointed deputy CEO of Minerals Investment Fund. This is the young Dr. Asiedu Nketia. Young, nice man. I mean, Asiedu Nketia used to be my neighbor, or shall I rather say, because he's older, I was his neighbor. And I mean, what has the son done? He's done his work, he's prepared himself. His father's party is in power. He will naturally get advantages. There's absolutely nothing wrong. We shouldn't look at democracy like that. I mean, the man's father's party is in power. They have almost 66% of parliament, about 2/3. Why shouldn't he get an advantage out of that? What's the problem? But the problem is the politicians and the things they say, knowing that they shouldn't say, but they say these things just to gain political advantage. Then when the political advantage comes, some of the things they say is now biting back at them. This is the problem. Interview that Johnson Asiedu Nketia gave in, I think it was 2017, is the problem. Otherwise, if Johnson Asiedu Nketia is chairman of a party and the party has won election and his son is qualified, he's a young man, he's prepared himself, he wants to be deputy CEO so that he can contribute his quota to a bigger portion of the national cake, there's no problem with it. But the problem is the way politicians talk, the way they talk. They talk only about ballot box. They just want the ballot box. They just want the ballot, but they're not talking about development. They're not offering ideas. They're just always attacking the person in the chair so that the citizens will see that he is better, but he doesn't offer ideas. When citizens are frustrated, when we are frustrated, we don't care about ideas. We are listening to why is the person sitting in the chair and doing the wrong thing. He may not be doing the wrong thing, but the other politician is pointing us to the fact that he's doing the wrong thing. This is where we are today. So General Asiedu Nketia must now explain that is it nepotism for President Mahama to appoint his son as the deputy CEO of Mineral Investment Fund? Is it nepotism? Please ask the general. Is it nepotism that President Mahama must appoint his son? Is it nepotism? I don't know. Is it nepotism? That's the question that I leave you with. Okay, let's move on. Shall we now take the text messages and then we take a commercial break? When we come back, we're going full throttle on the Obuasi story. What really happened? Who and whom contributed to the chaos and the murder in Obuasi? Let's start with you, Fatih. What are people saying?
Hi, thank you, Paul. So this is coming from Dashtin Conan. He says this defined corruption by Asiedu Nketia was defining it against Nana Addo, no doubt. Now, Stephen B. Bayer says, Afenyo indeed took inspirations from Haruna's veteran. Dashtin Kun comes again to say, I think climate change and sustainability would work fine in hand with both ministries of environment, agriculture, and energy. Young February says, Joyce Bawa is the person that I cherish most in the NDC and President Mahama's government. Congratulations to her and we pray for her success. Now, these appointments by President Mahama is welcome and we wish all of them well, from Master Planner Jr. all the way from Kintampo. And then he says, regardless, we are watching everyone keenly, and if they fail, we will wear the same trousers. We, the agric farmers, are waiting for our 6,000 cedis cash for a bag of cocoa. It is possible. Now, Yao February says, regarding Randy Abe's appointment as the CEO of Cocoa Board, Ghanaians want to see him down there in the cocoa farms and eliminate the minimal problems affecting the cocoa industry after the excellent implementation of charming policies by the former NPP government. Nana Yao says, I love President Donald Trump so much. I would like to see a Ghana leader put citizens first, ensuring our success and well-being.
From Daniel Akan. Good evening, Chairman Paul. Your cherished team, your program is always top-notch, and your presentation skills unparalleled. Master Planner Jr. says, Honorable Afenyo Markin is really doing a solid job as the minority leader. I urge him to train his deputies very well, so that in his absence, they can fill the gap accordingly. We will surely bounce back stronger, inshallah. From Jude Atta, Afenyo is very intelligent. He always inspires me with his leadership style. With Afenyo being the minority leader in the next 4 years, something better will come out from the next election future, election. Over to you, Neom.
Kwesi Amoako Jemfi, he says, if it was the MPP making those appointments, it would have been called friends and family. Now, from Ajiwodin Nana Kofi Jomo, he has a question and he says, my question to Honorable Emmanuel Kwejo Ajekum, if I were to be a member of the Appointments Committee, it goes, Honorable nominee, the One Village, One Dam initiative, introduced under the Ministry of Special Development Initiatives, aimed to provide irrigation support to farming constituencies, particularly in northern Ghana. However, concerns have been raised about the quality and functionality of some of these dams. If approved as Minister of State of Special Initiatives, what steps will you take to address these challenges, ensure the sustainability of the initiative, and expand it to benefit more communities across the country? Thank you. Over to Paul.
So it's as follows. Clashes between military and guards and a group of miners have left 9 people dead in the mining town of Obuasi. The miners, according to reports, attempted to invade one of the operational areas of Anglo Gold Ashanti mine on Saturday night. Saturday night's clashes at the Kudo shaft had been described as the bloodiest in the last decade. 9 people lost their lives after a group of local miners allegedly attempted to invade one of the concessions of the Anglo Gold Ashanti mine. 8 people are receiving treatments at both Obuasi Government Hospital and the Adom Otchere Teaching Hospital. Contention between some local miners and Anglo Gold over restricted operational areas of the Anglo Gold Ashanti mine has resulted in fierce battle over the years. In 2022, agitations over the release of one of Anglo Gold concessions created an easy calm in Obuasi, but swift intervention by the security doused an escalation. In 2023, scores of local miners were trapped in the Anriam shaft in an attempt to enter a restricted zone. Management of Anglo Gold has directed workers to stay off unsafe areas within Obuasi vicinity. The AGA school has been shut down because of the escalated tension. Security has been beefed up in the town to attempt to restore peace and order. That's in a nutshell what has happened in Obuasi so far. So let's get back to the exclusive videos on what happened. Let's see it. Now, when you look at this video, it's going to start rolling out very soon. The story is that the Anglo Gold, the Obuasi area, Anglo Gold's concession is much bigger than Anglo Gold has, or that they are mining on. So Anglo Gold has a huge concession. The story is that they are mining on only 30% of the concession. But this is a concession that's been given to Anglo Gold through the proper channels, through the Ministry of Lands, through the Lands Commission, Minerals Commission. All of that has been done. Now, the inhabitants of Obuasi are saying that Anglo Gold should release that part of the land that they have not been mining on to them, the individuals, so that they can continue, so that they can begin mining. The kind of mining they are going to do is galamsey, we know that. So the Anglo Gold people tell them that we cannot give you the land. You have to go back through the process. You have to surrender it to the Lands Commission. We have to then let the Lands Commission come and take new measurements, and then the Lands Commission can have the concession back, and then they will decide whether they can give it to you or not. This is where the bone of contention is. The citizens in Obuasi feel, the young men in Obuasi who want to mine, they feel that this is the mine. You are the one standing there and preventing us from going. When we ask you want to go, you say we should go to Accra. You are the mine, you are here, the mine is here, you are not mining it, you are mining somewhere else. Let us mine it. You say no. The story continues that during the political campaign, it would appear that politicians may have made certain promises to some of these people. We don't know what they said. It would appear that some of these promises may have agitated some of the young people, the promises made to them by the politicians. So that seems to be a big part of the conversation. And I'm hoping that in the investigative report that President Mahama's committee is looking at, they will look at the political consequence and the political connotations as well. But that's the story of Obuasi. So let's look at the video again. Now, this is how they try to enter. So this is the mesh. He's describing the parts that Anglo Gold are not mining on, but that they are keeping. And he's saying that this is where they push in and they enter, and then they mine. So this is how we break into the fence. That's what he's saying. So they just look at those places, and there they are. What job do you want us to do? The youth, we are jobless. They are complaining that they are jobless. There's no job. They can mine gold and sell it, and you don't want them to sell it. Then the military people come and they shoot after them. They shoot at them. So as we know, unfortunately, very tragically, 8 or so people have died. 8 people have died. It's very tragic. Even if it's one, it's very, very tragic. So yes, may their souls rest in peace. Some of that.
Paul, can you use this opportunity to educate the youth about soldiers and the way they defend themselves when they are being threatened by civilians? Prince Henry says, so Captain Smart made a reckless statement on TV and Ghana police didn't see anything wrong with it. And to those who died unfortunately as a result of their bad choice made by enraging in illegality. Master Planner Jr. says it is good the president has called for investigations on the issue of Obuasi, but the first step to stop is arresting Captain Smart. Now, Alex Nyako says, I can't dictate your editorial content for you, but I would be more impressed if the repercussions of Captain Smart's instigated message to Obuasi youth could be dealt with tonight. Thank you. And then, lastly, coming from Kamal Bruni says, the National Media Commission can no longer keep silent on the unprofessional journalistic practice done by Captain Smart. Additionally, Media General's refusal to condemn Captain Smart's incitement, which has led to the death of about 8 Ghanaians, can be best seen as an endorsement of all that he does using their medium. It took one man's reckless speech to plunge Rwanda into genocide of over a decade, and Ghanaians should not sit and watch him take us down that road. What do you have for us?
From Nelson Watson Frimpong. Words don't expire, and the internet does not forget. Past words can inspire or incite people in the present and the future. Smart is obviously not that smart. From Akwesi Amwaku Jenfi. Paul, please. Are journalists issued with licenses to operate just like the doctors, laws, and now teachers? If they do, then there must be a body with powers to revoke or suspend them when they misbehave. From Sugri Jonas. Left onto this kind of Captain Smart journalism, everyone can be a journalist, either with a sound mind or off-minded. You are good to go. Over to you, Neham.
Piladu, he says, well written, this is journalism. From Daniel Osama. Paul, can you use this opportunity to educate the youth about soldiers and the way they defend themselves when they are being threatened by civilians? Tamo Prekese says, Asemo, Ghana is full of uncertainty. And from Daniel Akan, he says, Apostle Paul, a gentle reminder, I could not pick up my book before going back to Germany. I certainly will buy another one from Amazon if it's available, but I still need my autographed book. Thank you in advance. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you very much. And